Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I have a little bit of a different video today, but also kind of a super exciting one that I am really excited to talk to you about. So I've mentioned in a few of my videos that I recently created a Patreon account. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about why I've done that and also what it's all about, what can you get as a patron of mine, and also to talk to you a little about a project called Journal Together that I'm doing through Patreon. So I guess I'll start just by talking about my Patreon levels, like how you can support me in the Patreon community kind of environment. So there were 3 tiers. I went with the standard Patreon tiers of $3, $10, and $20 per month. So I'll just kind of quickly go through. I won't spend a lot of time on this. The first tier is page turners. So this will give you access to a monthly digital download and printable content. It may be different times, kind of random, different fun things. I'll do videos that are only on Patreon as well, that, vlogs and tutorials, and share a little bit of my life with you. You will also get shop update notifications earlier than on any other part of my social media, so I'll be letting you know when I'm about to do a shop update. I'm also very open to communication through my Patreon, and I, in the past, have been known to, if someone knows I'm working on something and they say, hey, I really want that journal, you can definitely message me, and I'm at a point in my, career or my life here that I don't have any reason to not do those kind of things, I don't have, anyone clawing at everything I do or anything like that, but one of the things that you will also get will be the Journal Together Patreon kit monthly that I will talk about quickly after this. So the next tier are the door openers. So they get all of that plus a digital content library with all the digitals that I create, full access. These are things that otherwise would just go up on my Etsy. There will be a lot more content there, and you'll have a library that you'll have access to for, all of the time that you're my Patreon. And you can certainly download it. So, if there comes a time where you can't be a patron anymore, you've still had access to all of that library. Then the $20 a month are the Dreamweavers, and they're really making this whole experience for me really special. So you get all of those things, plus you get quarterly ephemera mail. So you're going to get a greeting from me 4 times per year if you're an annual subscriber. I will be sending you some kind of a happy mail for sure. And you will have obviously the digital download library, all of the content that I create there, the notifications, and also you'll be entered in an annual draw for a big happy mail from me. So that will be defined by me, and I will know a little bit probably about the things that you like, and I may ask you some questions, and I will send you a wonderful package if you are the winner of that draw. So those spaces are limited as well. So now let me get on with it. You know what, maybe I'm going to talk a little bit for a second. So why did I create a Patreon? Okay, so the reason that I created a Patreon is because, being an artist, I've spent a lot of my life having to do other things in my career I'm just going to cut some things up while I talk so it's not boring to watch. I've had to, work like a quote unquote real job, right? Because, the concept of starving artist comes from somewhere. And it's not that I ever expect that I'd be able to do this full time, because I just, in my life currently and the ways of the world definitely wouldn't allow that for me. But, that being said, I would like to be able to continue to do it and to do it in a meaningful way, and also just have the internet feel like a little bit smaller in terms of being able to do some special things for people, connect a little more to people who follow my work, and there's a lot of things that probably you may not be aware of for creators, and people who have small businesses and sell online. So There's so many things these days that really cut into what we do. And you've probably seen it in social media. You've probably seen other creators talk about the fees from Etsy, how shipping fees, especially everywhere outside of the United States, have gone through the roof. Although I'm sure that even in the United States, those fees have gone up as well. There's a lot more coming for us small businesses than is easy to manage. And so these little increments, right? Like you think, well, what does $3 a month do really, in the grand scheme of things? If you get enough people, who come along, then, that $3 a month, maybe it fills in for I have to offer free shipping to get attention on Etsy to US customers for all orders over $30. So those little increments of $3 kind of come back to me and pay for that shipping that I just have to eat the cost of. It's hard, and I think some people don't understand why you would do that. I've heard a larger YouTuber talk about oh, well, I never fell prey to that. Well, the thing of it is, if you have over 10,000 subscribers, you probably have quite a demand for your work. If you're selling journals and they follow you on YouTube, you've had the advantage of having all of that kind of attention already, right? So probably as soon as you post something, it sells right away, and you don't even have to think about that. So you don't have to offer free shipping. You don't have to do those things to try to get Etsy to bring customers to you. So it's stuff like that. And it's not just Etsy, it's not just online, but it's it gives me a little bit more justification to spend my time doing this kind of thing. Because I do have my own little family. I have 2 little kids, and I am also the primary provider in my family at this time with my day job, and my husband is he is the primary caregiver to our children during the day. And it's kind of a different kind of life than what I think we expected right now, but it's because with everything going on in the world, we've had to make a few different kinds of decisions. And so the reality is that these days, most people have to do another little extra thing to just literally make ends meet. And I don't think that that's unique at all for people who are, 50 and under, I would say. It's, and a lot of people that are older even. It's not, I'm just saying that from the statistics of generationally speaking, what a house costed, in the 50s or the 60s when older people were able to buy versus now where it's extremely unattainable for most people. So that being said, I clearly am not trying to lump anybody into a category, because we all have our own things, right? But anyways, that's a little bit around my reasons and some of the personal conversation that I wanted to have with you about Patreon, because I think some people may potentially find it offensive. I don't know. I never do. I love Patreon. I think it's a really great place. I follow many creators there, and I love to support them and, connect with them in a different way and have access to their interesting projects that they want to keep special. Because, there's another part of it where we all have intellectual property, right? We all have talent. We all have skills that we've learned. We've all taken a lot of time to research things and, share them with people. And I should mention right now, nothing's going to change in terms of YouTube. I'm still going to be here making videos. I'm still going to share tutorials. I'm still going to do what I do today. I'll just be doing a little more and doing that on Patreon. So yeah, all that being said, I'm going to now show you this project. So as I mentioned, for all tiers of my Patreon, I want to offer a monthly Journal Together Patreon kit. And it's going to be much like me, if you think of the concept of a commonplace book, the randomness and the fun that it has, it's going to be like that. I think most digitals, right? They're sort of either one or a combination thereof of many things. Personal art that you create physically and you scan, digital art that you create, you know, old images that you can scan from physical things like vintage ledger or vintage photographs, as well as public domain imagery that you curate, and you may edit or you may not, and you just curate them into collections. So I see digitals, both paid and free, that are some combination of that or one of those categories. I probably will be doing a combination of that. And it really excites me, honestly. Like, I think I'm going to have a hard time keeping these kits to a reasonable size, but I will do that because I know, you know, printing it and all of that, although you only have to print what you want. But yeah, that being said, let's talk about this upcoming month's kit for August. The first one is August 2022. I will be posting it within the next day or two, so that it will be ready to go for my patrons for August. Oops, that would be my alarm. So yeah, I'm also going to be doing a video where we do a little bit of journaling together that will go along with this monthly kit. That will happen at some point during the month of August. I will try to do it like the first week if I can, to just kind of help to orient you into the kit. So yeah, this month we have a lot of fun things. So these are some very sweet little animals from a very old like a 19, I believe, let me check, 1918 book. So these are very sweet little animals here riding along on this little wooden scooter and doing some laundry. And the nice thing about this is there's actually a statement from the woman who worked with these animals to make this book that talked about her tireless time spent, you know, just working carefully with them to not make them stressed and to not hurt them. So it's not that kind of thing where like an animal is forced to do something. She was very sweet and gentle, and they were pets, and it was like a nicer kind of thing. So I just want to say that because I think sometimes people are like, oh gosh, what happened to these poor animals? And I'm also very conscious of that. So the other thing is we have this little bee card here with some lines and a little flower that I drew, and a little gardener's receipt book label. And another one of those journal cards of this little bunny with a hen pulling it along. This is one of my photographs from my cemetery walks, my graveyard walks, of this adorable, like old, it's an 1800 angel, and I just thought it was really beautiful. This is a darker card here of this skull and a bubble above it. This was some very old art about bubbles, and I just thought that was a cool dark kind of image. And then we have a unicorn in sort of a mushroom forest, and then a bunch more labels. Leaves from a family journal, autumnal rambles among the Scottish mountains, the Vale of Cedars, a story of Spain in the 15th century, home scenes and heart studies, tales, the teaching of common things, Night and the Soul, a dramatic poem, vintage libraries and reading rooms, wanderings among the wildflowers, how to see and how to gather them, the dictionary or domestic medicine and household surgery, friendly letters, the young naturalist's library, and this talks about some birds' nests and butterflies and shells, the beekeeper's manual. So these are all old labels from a very old 1800s book. Then we have a couple of journal cards here with some beautiful pigeons, and we have a lovely orchid here, and this little card here of this hand, these hands talking about braiding, essentially, here demonstrating braiding. And another of those little braiding cards, and then some very fancy pigeons. And then these are scans of some Canadian canceled checks from 1915, Brooklyn, Ontario, from the Standard Bank of Canada. Then this is a little flower card, another of those labels, A History of British Birds. Then here we have, this is watercolored, and it's like a journal flip. So right here you will fold this and it will be able to be written on back, and will just be like a nice sort of freeform style flip. You could also use it as a pocket if you wanted to. And then we have a stereoscope card here, this little boy. And then we have 2 tags here of these fun like pumpkin house villages. I did a nice kind of different topper for this one. This is a vintage cabinet card from a local family whose estate that I purchased all their cabinet cards. A little flower here, just a fussy cut. And then the last page is sort of a page of words and labels. So I wrote these and designed them. Pocket full of starshine, oh dearly departed, hidden in a blanket of soft moss, leaf blown and lost, underground the trees and mushrooms have hope, popping like bubbles, floating like dandelion fluff, be seen in the bright sunshine, toads, the wisest beings, inside out and upside down, acorns and maple seeds, blink but don't sleep, and then some floral labels. So I sort of look at the themes that I work with and that I know that my kind of base of followers, there's sort of a couple. I mean, there's a large range of people who are into different things, but I feel like we have people who like darker themes and witchier themes. We have people who like nature and all things around that, and then also some who like childhood nostalgia. So I think that those themes will probably be sort of the drivers for what I create, but again, it will be quite random, and I have such a massive collection of old things and I love to do photography, and I see myself doing seasonal things and different series, whatever kind of sparks my mood, my excitement, and I am a very excitable person most of the time. So all of that being said, thank you for listening, thank you for hanging out, and if you would like to consider being my patron, I wanted to let you know what is in it for you and what may interest you, and to tell you that this is only the beginning. I have a lot of ideas and I can't wait to share them with you. So thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.